Okay guys, this is a quick video going over the graphing for the Sweet Life Bakery project. You are supposed to create two graphs and they're described here on your instruction sheet. The first is a column chart that shows the total sales during each hour of operation. It tells you the title and then to add in the horizontal axis title and the vertical axis title. So I'm going to switch over to a spreadsheet. So this one becomes difficult because the information that we are charting is not right next to each other. Okay, the data ranges we're going to be using are separate. So what we're doing is we are taking the time periods across here, so A4 through G4, and we are lining that up with, on line 14, total sold by hour, okay, because we're wanting to show at 7 o'clock we sold 87, at 8 o'clock we sold 104, and so on. So because these are, the two data ranges aren't right next to each other, we have to trick Google Sheets a little bit to get it to do what we want on the graph, okay? The first thing that we will do is we're gonna insert the chart and then we'll add in with one data range and then we'll add in the second data range. So I'm just gonna do it and talk you through it as we go. So we're going to highlight A4 over to G4. And the reason I'm highlighting A4, this is just something I learned after trying to just do B4 through G4. It would never work for me. So I just tried A4 and over to G4 and it worked. So it was just one of those things where you had to kind of struggle through a little bit until you got it to do what you wanted it to do. So this is going to be my first data set. I'm going to do insert, chart. Remember, it drops it right on top of your stuff. So we're going to use the three little dots, move to own sheet. Okay, once we're on our own sheet, which mine's now called chart 12, it's just because I've done lots of charts on this file. And I'm going to hit edit chart, and I'm going to look at my data range. Okay. So I'm going to switch back real quick so that I remember where my totals are. Okay, my totals are A14 over to G14. So that's what I'm going to add as my second data set for that chart. Okay, so back to edit chart. Here's my data range. I'm going to click here, add another range. Remember, you have to type this part. It's the name of the sheet. So if you called this something other than sheet 1, you'll want to use whatever shows up here. Mine's still called sheet 1, so I'm going to type in sheet 1, exclamation point, A14 through G14. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. All right, so it's still not exactly the way we need it. Again, Google Sheets doesn't quite make this one easy. So you have to work through it. You have to struggle a little bit, and it took me some time to figure it out too. So here's what I figured out. I figured out that you have to come down here. I'm still in setup. I'm going to combine ranges. I'm going to change this from horizontally to vertically. Okay, and that gets us part of the way there. We still have some things to do. Down here, I'm going to choose a couple of things. I'm going to choose switch rows and columns. Wow, now that looks better, right? And then I'm going to come down a little further and I'm going to use row 4 as labels. Okay, I'm going to click there. And now you'll see this is what we were looking for. We were looking for sales by hour. So 7 o'clock we sold 87, 8 o'clock 104, and so on. Okay, notice that it's automatically put the times across our horizontal axis. So this is exactly what we were looking for. So now the next thing I need to do is just add in under Customize. I'm going to go to Chart and Axis Titles. The chart title, we are supposed to do, I think it's called Sales by Hour. Sales per hour. And then I'm also going to do my horizontal and vertical axis. And folks, anytime you have a chart that has a horizontal and vertical axis, you still, you should label them, even if it's obvious, okay? Numbers are here, times are here. Most people can see what those are, but it's really helpful if you go ahead and put titles in, okay? So that's the vertical. Let's look at horizontal. We're going to call this time. All right, perfect. This one is done and ready to go. Let's look at the second one. Okay, the second one is a pie chart that shows the total sales for all types of cookies. Okay, so our title is going to be total sales by cookie. We got to have the percentage on each piece of the pie and include a legend with the name of the cookies. All right, this one actually goes pretty quick. So you're going to go back to our spreadsheet data. And again, we are dealing with, our data is not right next to each other. We have two sets of data. We're now doing the types of cookies. So we're doing A5 down to A13, from chocolate chip down to rainbow sprinkles. And then we're coming over here in column H. This is total sold by type of cookie. So H5 through H13. Those are the things we're going to chart. But since they're not right next to each other, I'm going to start off just by highlighting one of the data sets, A5 through A13. I'm going to put insert, chart. It's going to drop it right on top. I'm going to move it to its own sheet so we have room to work. We're going to edit chart. And first thing we need to do here is change it from a column chart to a pie chart. And then you'll notice it fusses at us here saying, hey, you need 2 columns. You only selected 1. Well, we know that's what we did. So we're going to just come back in here on data range. We're going to add another range just like we did before. Sheet 1, exclamation point, H5 through H13. Okay, perfect. All right, so this one, there's not a whole lot you have to do here. Your percentages show up here, and your name of your cookies show up here. So that kind of takes care of the legend part. You don't have to do a separate legend there. This is fine having the lines pull out. But I would like for you to have your percentages showing up on your slices. So let's see if I remember how to do that. I'm going to go over here to customize. Let's go to pie slices. No, that's not it. Let me think for a second. There's another spot. Customize. I'm thinking maybe data labels. No, we don't want a legend. Here we go. Pie chart, slice label. There we go. Slice label. We're going to put percent. Okay. So that just shows folks right on top of the pie what the percentage is on there. Okay. So I believe all we have left to do there is put the title in. Let's make sure. Yep. Total sales by cookie. So I'm going to come up here, chart and axis titles. Chart title is going to be okay. There we go. We got our title in. All right, that's graphing. If you have any trouble while you're working, please feel free to ask.